Welcome to yoga. My name is Kristen and I'm a health coach with Orion. Today we're going to be adding onto our sunrise salutations flow just a little bit. We'll be doing some lunges to help open and stretch our hips, and then we'll also be doing some twisting through our spine. Spinal twists can be really healthy, but you just need to make sure you start with a nice tall spine. The most important thing as well is that you just listen to your body and pay attention to the way that your spine is feeling. If you ever feel anything that's really uncomfortable or painful or it just doesn't feel right to you, then that's okay. You can go ahead and sit out during that pose. We're going to begin, once again, standing in mountain pose. Your feet will be hip width apart. Remember, that's about the same space as two fists. So you can check out where you are. And then just stand nice and tall. Let your spine be nice and long. Let your arms rest by your sides. And then you're welcome to close your eyes if you would like. Just let your feet connect with the ground. And let the strength and the energy from the ground enter your feet, go up your legs, go through your spine, now at the top of your head. So you feel really strong and solid standing here, like a mountain. And check in with your breathing. Just observe where your breath is at now, but then maybe ask yourself if it would feel good to take your breathing just a little bit deeper. And as you do take your breathing deeper, see if you can let that breath, that oxygen, go right into your stomach. So you're expanding your stomach as you breathe. Periodically check in with your shoulders. Make sure your shoulders are still relaxed. Make sure you're standing in your perfect posture. Try to forget about everything you've had to do so far today, everything you'll have to do afterwards. And just let yourself be present here in this moment. Adding in a little bit of movement with our breathing. We'll just inhale our shoulders up by our ears, and then exhale, pull your shoulders back and down. And inhale up, exhale back and down. Just be aware of your shoulders here. We hold a lot of extra tension in our shoulders, especially as you pull your shoulders back and down. Pay attention to how that feels to you. Let's inhale our arms up in front of us, and then exhale, pulling your elbows back and down. So opening up a little bit more through the shoulders and through the chest. Just imagine there's a wall behind you and you're running your arms down that wall. Let's just take our heads side to side, stretching through our necks. And standing nice and tall again, we'll inhale our arms up overhead. We're going to stretch a little bit through the sides of our bodies. We'll start with our hands overhead and our palms together. You can interlace your fingers and then release your index fingers. And we're just going to reach slightly to the left. It's not so much about bending, but reaching and lengthening. Maybe thinking about reaching to the corner of the room. If this feels like too much, you're always welcome to drop your left hand and just reach to the right. Inhale back up, nice and tall. Interlace the fingers. You can release the index fingers, and then we'll lengthen to the right side. And lengthening. Try not to let your left arm cut you off in the front. Try to keep the left shoulder pulled back. If you want, you can drop the right arm. To lighten the stretch a little bit. And inhale back up. Just exhale down to heart center. Let your arms rest at your sides. We're going to bring our hands behind us and interlace our fingers. Try not to lock your elbows here, but we are going to pull our elbows back and then pull your hands away from your back. Just opening a little bit more through your chest and your shoulders. If this feels okay to you here, let's lengthen through the top of our head and begin to fold forward. Just coming to a forward fold. Let your neck relax and your head just hang. It's all right if you start to feel your hands fall more over your head. Carefully come back up, lengthening through the top of your head. Gently release your hands. You might feel a rush of blood. You can shake out your hands just a little bit. We'll inhale our arms up overhead again. Exhale to heart center. Inhale up, and we'll begin to work through our sunrise salutations flow. Exhale down. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale down. Step back to plank, or you can lower your knees for modified plank, and then slowly lower down through chaturanga. Inhale up to cobra, or press through your hands up to upward facing dog. Back to downward facing dog. This is our first downward dog, so you're welcome to stay up on your toes. Keep your knees bent and just find that length and the stretch through your spine. Let's come up on our tippy toes even higher. Slowly bend our knees down to the mat. And we'll sit back in child's pose, just coming back to our nice deep breath. After a few nice deep inhales and exhales, shift your weight forward, tuck your toes under, and come back up to downward facing dog. We'll step both of our feet up into our hands and reverse swan dive up. Exhale down through heart center. Inhale up. Exhale, swan dive down. Inhale to a flat back. Release back down and step back to plank. Exhaling down. Inhaling up, you can choose cobra pose or upward facing dog. And then back to downward facing dog. Once again, making sure that you find the length through your spine, your arms, your shoulders, before you start to straighten through your legs. You can stretch a little bit more here by alternating, pressing each heel into the ground. Just working through those muscles in your legs. And once again, let's come up on our tippy toes and bend our knees all the way down to the mat. We'll sit back in child's pose for a few nice deep breaths. On your next inhale, shift your weight forward, tuck your toes under, and come back up to downward facing dog. We'll carefully step both of our feet up into our hands, reverse swan dive up. Exhale down through heart center. Inhale. Exhale, swan dive down. Inhale to a flat back. Release back down, step back to plank. Exhale down, keeping those elbows close to your body. Inhale up, cobra or upward dog. And back to downward facing dog. Maybe trying to find a little bit more of a stretch this time. Challenging yourself by either straightening your legs or letting your heels drop closer to the ground. Or if it's more comfortable for you to keep your knees bent and stay up on your toes, that's okay too. Up on your tippy toes, bend your knees slowly down to the ground, and we'll sit back into child's pose again. Really coming back to your nice deep breathing here. On your next inhale, shift your weight forward, tuck your toes under, come up to downward facing dog, and carefully step your feet back into your hands. Reverse swan dive up, and exhale down through heart center. This time as we work through the sunrise salutations, we'll add on just a few more stretches. Inhale up, exhale, swan dive down. Inhale to a flat back, release back down, step back to plank, slowly lower down through chaturanga, inhale up to cobra or upward dog, back to downward facing dog. Now in downward facing dog this time, we want to take our right leg up into the air. We're going to keep our hips square, so just think about reaching your heel towards the ceiling. Or you can think about maybe putting a footprint on the wall behind you. Make sure your spine stays nice and long. You're really going to have to use the muscles in the backs of your legs to help keep that leg lifted. And let's carefully bend that knee, bring it into our chest. Think about pulling your belly button up into your spine and step the foot all the way through. Just coming into a nice deep lunge. This can be a pretty intense stretch. If you want to relax it just a little bit, you can lower the back knee to the ground. Let your weight shift forward and really open up through those hips. If you do choose to keep your back knee off the ground, and really think about the strength and energy in that back leg and try to keep it straight. Carefully step back to downward facing dog. And let's take our left leg up into the air. Same thing, keep your hips square. So just think about reaching up through that heel or putting a footprint on the wall behind you. Keep your spine nice and long. And then bend that knee, bring it into your chest. Think about lifting up through your belly button and step the foot all the way through. This is actually a pretty difficult maneuver, even though it's pretty common in yoga poses. And so if it takes you a few steps or lots of practice, that's okay. As you're here in your lunge, try to find your best stretch, whether you're lowering your knee to the ground or leaving the leg straight. And from here, we're going to carefully step the right foot in next to the left and reverse one leg up. Exhale down. Inhaling. Exhale down. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale, release. Step back to plank. Slowly lower down. Inhale up. Back to downward facing dog. Once again, we'll take our right leg up into the air and use those muscles again. Bend the knee, bring it into your chest. Really lift up through your belly button. That's going to help you step your foot forward. And step that foot between the thumbs. Remember, you're welcome to lower your back knee to the ground if you would like to. This time we're going to challenge ourselves just a little bit by lifting our weight out of our hands. Really pressing down through both feet, lengthening through that back leg. And if you'd like, you can even lift your arms overhead. Lengthening all the way from your left heel up through your fingertips. And release your hands back down. We'll step back to downward facing dog. Let's take our left leg up into the air. Keep the hips square. Think about lifting through the heel. Bend the knee, bring it into your chest, lift up through your belly button, and step the foot between your thumbs. Once again, really think about pressing down through your feet, lengthening through that back leg, or bending it to the ground if you would like, and then lift your weight out of your hands. Focus on lengthening through your spine. Then if you'd like, you can bring your arms right in line with your spine and your back leg. Breathe nice and deep as you're holding this lunge. And then release your arms back down. Step back to downward facing dog. We'll come up on our tippy toes, bend our knees down, and give ourselves a little break in child's pose. Coming back to your nice deep breath. And you may find it's a little bit easier to breathe deeper since we've been using our muscles. On your next inhale, shift your weight forward, tuck your toes under, and come up to downward facing dog. Carefully step both of your feet up into your hands Reverse swan dive up. Exhale down. Inhale. Exhale, swan dive down, lengthening through the top of your head. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale, release. Stepping back to plank. Slowly exhale down. Inhale up, cobra or upward dog. Back to downward dog. And then let's take our right leg up into the air. Reaching through the heel, bend the knee, bring it into your chest, and step the foot all the way through. Let's inhale our arms up and exhale back down. We'll leave our left hand planted into the mat right next to our right foot, and then we'll open up through our right arm. Just finding a nice, easy twist. Remember, it's important to think about lengthening through your spine. Try not to sink down into that left shoulder, but to really stay lifted all the way from your left hand to your right hand. And release that right arm down. We'll step back to downward facing dog. Take our left leg up into the air. Bend the knee, bring it into your chest, and step the foot all the way through. Finding a nice stretch in your best lunge. Whenever we come into a lunge, you want to make sure that your knee never goes forward over your toes. You want to keep your ankle and your knee in a straight line. Let's inhale up. And exhale back down. Planting your right hand in the mat next to the left foot. And then we're going to twist, opening to our left arm. Keeping your spine nice and long and staying lifted through that right shoulder. Release back down. We'll step back to downward facing dog. And then carefully bend your knees to the mat. We'll take a little break in child's pose. Coming back to our nice deep breathing. On your next inhale, shift your weight forward, tuck your toes under, and come back to downward facing dog. Step both of your feet up into your hands and reverse swan dive up. Exhale to heart center. Inhale, your arms back up. Exhale, swan dive down. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale, release. Back to plank. And slowly working through your flow until we meet in downward facing dog. Downward dog, let's take our right leg up into the air. Bend the knee, bring it into your chest, and step the foot all the way through. We'll inhale up into our high lunge. And from here, you have two options. You can come back to where we were before, your left arm on the ground and your right arm reaching up. Or you can bring your hands to heart center and then twist towards that right knee, bringing the left elbow to the outside of the right knee, and then pressing through your hands until your hands are at heart center. And then turn your head and look over your right shoulder. So you're including your entire spine in the twist. Carefully release your hands back down to the mat. We'll step back to downward facing dog. Let's take our left leg up into the air. Bend the knee, bring it into your chest, and step the foot all the way through. Inhale up to your high lunge. You're welcome to bring the right arm down, the left arm up, like we did before. Or you can bring your hands to heart center, twist towards that left knee, bringing the right elbow to the outside of the knee, and then press through your hands until they are back at heart center. Turn your head and look over your left shoulder. Remember to keep your spine nice and long as you're in this twist. And carefully release your hands back to the mat. We'll step back to downward facing dog. Come up on our tippy toes and bend our knees all the way down. Sitting back into child's pose, taking a few nice deep breaths. On your next inhale, shift your weight forward, tuck your toes under, and we'll come up to downward facing dog. We're going to do one more stretch through our hips here. Leave your left foot on the ground and take your right leg back up into the air. This time, open up your hips so you feel a little bit of a twist, and let your toes reach as high as they can towards the ceiling. Try to keep your weight equal in both of your hands. Your spine nice and long. And if you want, you can even bend that right leg so you're thinking about pointing your kneecap up towards your ceiling. And the heel comes back towards the glutes. Carefully release that leg down. Let's do that with the left leg. Taking the left leg into the air, opening those hips, reaching the toes as high as you can towards the ceiling. You can bend the knee if you want, opening the hips a little bit more. And then carefully turn your hips back towards the ground and release that foot. Come up on your toes, bend your knees down, and go ahead and sit back in child's pose again for a few nice deep breaths. Let your arms and your shoulders relax. Find we're probably working those pretty good and stretching through our shoulders quite a bit as we held in downward facing dog. On your next inhale, shift your weight forward, coming to all fours, and then just swing your legs out in front of you, sitting nice and tall. We're going to do our forward fold stretch again, but this time, if you find this stretch is difficult for you, or if you feel like your legs aren't ready to straighten all the way yet, you're welcome to grab a stack of books, maybe a blanket folded up, or I'm using a yoga block. You're welcome to just put that block, blanket, books, whatever, right underneath your hips. It's going to help your knees straighten a little bit easier, but you're not losing any of the benefits of this pose. Inhale your arms up overhead, and then exhale and just begin to fold forward. It's okay if you feel like you can't go very far. The most important thing is that you're feeling a stretch. When When you've gone as far as you can let your arms release down to your legs. Try to keep your spine nice and long, even as you're folding in half. Carefully walk your hands back up your legs. Go ahead and remove whatever you put underneath you. Bend your knees, let your feet come to the ground. We're going to carefully work our way down onto our backs. Let your spine lengthen out, and then we're going to bend, or we're going to extend, and bring our right knee into our chest. Let the muscles in the right hip release, and just use your arm strength to pull that leg up. Very gently, we're going to take that right knee and we're going to cross it over the left side of our body. You can kind of roll to the outside of your left leg. Let your right arm reach out to the right side, and then you'll turn your head and look at the right hand. Just getting a nice twist in your spine here. And if you feel like there's too much pressure in your spine or in your hips, you can adjust this leg a little bit. You can straighten the leg, you can bring it down lower, you can even bring the foot back onto the leg. Carefully we'll roll so we're on our backs again. Go ahead and release the right leg, bend the left knee, and then let's gently pull that left knee up into our chest. Releasing the muscles in the hip and just using your arm strength to hold that knee there. Very gently begin to pull that left knee across the right side of your body. You can roll onto the outside of your right leg. Let the left leg come down. Reach the left arm out to the left side and turn your head so you're looking at that left hand. Remember, you can adjust this left leg however you need to. You can straighten it. You can bring the foot back onto your right leg. You can bring it lower. Find the place where you can be pretty comfortable. To your body. If you're feeling any pain or feeling like this just isn't for you, that's okay. You can take a break. A big part of yoga is accepting our bodies and accepting what we can and can't do. Not every yoga pose is going to fit every body. To your back again. Let both of your legs extend out to the mat. Let your arms rest at your sides with your palms up. And we're going to come into our Shavasana pose or final relaxation. can grab anything you need to make you comfortable. If you want a blanket or a pillow, you can go ahead and grab those things now. Then come back onto your mat, just laying flat on your back, letting all of your muscles relax. Just imagine your body getting heavier and sinking down into the ground. The challenge in this pose is finding complete stillness. Even let your fingers and your toes be still. And let your mind relax as if it were a muscle. Doesn't necessarily mean you're not going to have thoughts anymore, but try to not hold on to any particular thoughts. Try not to force any thoughts. Whatever thoughts you do have or whatever words might be in your mind, just let them float in and then out. Just simply observing, not trying to change anything. Another nice deep inhale, completely filling your lungs, your stomach, your body with that fresh oxygen. Exhale nice and slow. And we'll carefully begin to move our bodies again. Welcome to just start by wiggling your fingers and your toes. Very gently begin to roll onto one side. Curling your knees up in towards you. And then carefully using the strength in your arms to press you up to a seated position. Sitting nice and tall, letting your hands just rest on your knees. You can either have your palms up or your palms down, whatever's more comfortable for you. Find your perfect posture and take a few nice deep inhales and exhales. Remembering to thank your bodies here for the things that it has let you do in this yoga class, and also for the abilities that it has in getting you through every single day. Let's inhale our arms up overhead. Exhale to heart center. And thank you so much for joining me again for yoga. My name is Kristen and I'm a health coach with Orion. Namaste.